Well, another story we're following: huge crowds protesting in Macedonia's capital, Skopje, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Nikola Gruevski. The demonstration came after an opposition leader released tapes of wiretapped conversations. The government is accused of spying on up to 20,000 of its own citizens. From Skopje, Robin Forrestier-Walker reports.
Opposition leader Zoran Zaev's leaked wiretappings have made him a hero amongst this crowd. His revelations of abuse of power at the heart of government have scandalised Macedonians. Thousands came to show their contempt for Prime Minister Nikola Gruevski.
There is nothing else left for Nikola Gruevski to do but to leave this building.
They call this building simply the government building. It's where the Prime Minister has his office, and among the people who've come to stand outside it today are those who've done so at personal risk. I spoke to one woman. She wouldn't agree to be interviewed on camera because she said she worked for this government and that if her boss saw her, she'd lose her job. But she said she'd come out today, she'd beaten her fear, and for that she was proud.
That control by Gruevski's party over the state has angered the young and the old.
I know that our country is poor, that my people is hungry, that our government is in big criminal. Our money are in their pockets.
Despite fears of an ethnic divide, Albanians were among Sunday's protesters. The opposition will take heart from that unity. Occupy Skopje has begun, but the government says its supporters will be next to converge on the capital. That could pit citizen against citizen. Robin Forrestier-Walker, Al Jazeera, Skopje.
Well, Ivana Jordanovska is a pro-democracy activist. She joins me live now from Skopje. Good to have you with us. What was different about the protest we saw there today?
I'm sorry, your question again.
Yes, I was asking you, compared to the sort of demonstrations that you've seen in the past, I mean, tens of thousands, some remarkable numbers of people turned out on the streets of the capital today. What was different about the protest compared to those we've seen in the past?
Before, in the past 23 years of our independence, we've seen protests for certain things or against certain things. And then, on the other hand, you have the political rallies. The protests, which are citizens-led, are usually for something. So we have against a new tax law, a new higher education law, and so on and so forth. Or the political rallies, which are simply a political party coming together and saying, hey, this is our program, vote for us, we are better than the other guys. But this protest was nothing like that. You had protesters from all the different groups coming together and saying, we are fighting for democracy. All of our issues together are actually a fight for democracy. It's the first time I'm seeing something like this in the country, and I would even go even further and say it's the first time I'm seeing something like this on the Balkans.
So, sort of a landmark development, if you like, people feeling tensions are running high right now. What does all this mean then for the position of the Prime Minister of Gruevski? Will he now have to step down? Does it look as though the protesters' demands will be met?
I'm afraid these protests are non-violent. This is the main message that everyone is sending, and this is the most important thing. And I don't think that, given all the previous provocations that have existed, given the case of Kumanovo, where there was a terrorist attack, I don't think that Gruevski will have an easy path to provoking violence. So there is no real physical threat to Gruevski and his government to resign. I'm hoping that the Tuesday's meeting of the leaders in Brussels will have some results, that the EU will finally take a firm step and a stance towards Gruevski and explain that this is not the road that Macedonia should be taking on the European integration path. So beside that, really, I don't think that there's much of pressure on him, because we've seen even before that he's capable of going against his own citizens over and over again.
Ivana Jordanovska, pro-democracy activist, thanks very much for bringing us all the latest live from the Macedonian capital, Skopje.